Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Do we have a volunteer for prayer from the audience? Okay. Sure, good, good. Come on, Shayla. And follow the prayer, we'll have a pledge.
Father God, we just thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for just bringing each and every one of us here today, God. And we just ask that if there be anyone on the way, Lord, just help me to your sake, God. Thank you for the many blessings, Lord. Thank you for helping us be here tonight, Lord. Bless us stuff. Everything that has been said and has been done, Lord, you just do it tonight, God. And we just thank you for the many blessings, Lord. We just ask you for the Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the Monday, December the 16th, 2019 school board meeting. This meeting is now called to order, and at this time, we will proceed with item 1.2, Cowboy recognition. Ms. Joseph.
Okay, Mr. Chair and board members, at this time, I would like to recognize our football team as well as our cheerleaders. It's a sad frog that doesn't appraise his own pond, and I know because of their accolades and achievements this year, they're in the circuit, so we cannot be the last people to praise you and offer our congratulations to you. I'm going to bring forth Coach Mike Coe, and as he come up and tell you a little bit about him, not much, okay? I won't make you shame. He was hired in Madison County in 2003, so he's been with us. He's also, he feels like one of us because he's been here that long. He was officially appointed head coach in 2010. But since becoming head coach, he's had a record of 109 wins, 21 losses. That gives him an 84% winning record at Madison County High School. But within the last 4 years, he has improved his winning percentage because that's what we want to do. As time progresses, we want to perfect what we're doing, and we want to increase our efforts. And so in the last 4 years, and congratulations to the senior football team, as well as all your underclassmen that played with you. They have had 50 wins and 4 losses. That gives us a 93% winning rate. And if you get a 93 on your report card, you have an A, okay? Okay, and so he culminated his season with a three-peat, which is winning 3 consecutive state championships. And again, congratulations, Coach Cole. And as you were telling me earlier, it's not about you. You didn't play not one down on that. It's about the kids, but you are their leader, and so we are extending congratulations to you and the team, but we're going to let you be their spokesman.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph. Again, it's not about me. 3 seniors here with me tonight. For the first time in our county's history that I'm aware of, we have 2 of them that will be signing early. 2 of them are graduating high school a semester early. Shaylin Howard will be signing with Georgia Southern University tomorrow. Well, their ceremony's tomorrow. They'll sign Wednesday. And Zane Herring will be signing with Florida State University. And then Zach Coe is here as well. He'll be signing in February with Valdosta State. And then Darion Worm Staten is in the back somewhere, back there hiding. And we're going to find him a place to go to. That's 140 pounds of toughness and grit right there. He scored 2 big touchdowns against Pahokee in the state semifinals. The last one under a minute and a half to go to win. And of course, our cheerleaders, Miss Latner, does a tremendous job with them. They're a part of us, along with the band, Mr. DeLuca. And then I got a few coaches here tonight. I want to brag on those guys. When I hire coaches, we don't get on the board. We don't talk about football hardly at all. I just want to know that they care about kids. They care about making them better young men, and they're going to love them like their own. And I've got that. There's not many of us. There's 10 of us total. But I've got 2 that drive from Tallahassee back and forth every day. They coach 2 sports. They come during the summer, so they never get a break. I got another one lives in Lake Park. I have one that lives in Jasper. So they come from all over the place, and every one of them coach 2 sports. So they never get a break, and they're full-time teachers as well. So that record and all that stuff is good, but without those men and their willingness to love on these kids like their own, none of that happens. So, fellas, I want to publicly tell you, I really appreciate you. I love you. We're more like brothers than we are coaches. And then to the players, you know how I feel about you. And we would not be here unless it was your willingness to do the things necessary to have the success that we have. I believe the players want to say something too, if that's okay. I doubt any one of them would jump up to be first, but come on up, fellas. It's a good experience for you right here. Oh, and our administration is here. I'm sorry, I forgot. I saw Coach Hightower sitting back. Our administration supports us. We're all on the same page, and they've been really, really good to us in helping our young men. And I'd also like to share before I shut up about our graduation rate on the football team. Every year I've been the head coach, it's been above 90%. Every year we've yet to hit 100. We've been really, really close. But that's our goal, obviously, every year. And that's what's most important to me is they get their high school diploma and become good citizens, good husbands, and good daddies in that order. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. First, I would like to thank everyone here for the support and for y'all pushing us to do better. And I would first like to thank God for blessing me with the ability to play the sport I love. I would also like to thank the coaches for working countless hours to assure that we're not only the best we can be on the field, but also to assure we're great husbands and fathers one day. And the sport of football has really taught me a lot, how it can get you through adversity and how you can just get through life, looking back at memories with your brothers and coaches. And I just want to thank my teammates and coaches for being there every day with me, helping me do better.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
First of all, we'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for letting us come out here tonight. I've been playing the game of football since I was 5 years old, and I started playing in Dave Gatwood Football League. And I've been playing with these guys since then, for 12 years, just about. And they've helped me grow and mature in many ways. And the reason we play the way we do is because we have the brotherhood and bond that no other team in the nation really has. The coaches at MCHS are the best group of men I've ever been around. They're selfless, loving, and persistent in training us to not only be the best athletes we can be, but also the best men we can be. These coaches in this game of football has done so much for me, each on and off the field. Because of them, I have the opportunity to further my athletic and academic career. So far in my life, these past 4 years have been the best years of my life. And because of this program, I know I will succeed in life and become a great man, husband, and father one day.
Good afternoon. All right, well, good evening. How y'all doing? Good evening. I'm not going to, piggyback of what they really said, but I mean, it's really kind of the same thing. But like they said before, I've been playing football since the age of 5. It's been really special to me. I've always wanted to be a Cowboy. You know, playing on the field, you know, Sunday afternoons and more Sunday mornings, it was just really special to me because, you know, I could always imagine, you know, putting on that maroon and silver, and, you know, putting on that helmet and, you know, going out there and playing on a Friday night. But I mean, playing football, you know, being around these coaches has been really special. I remember as a freshman when I first got on the field, you know, in the summer, you know, I told them that one thing I really want them to do is get me an opportunity to play college football, and, you know, they have. And like I said, I won a lot of games with these guys. I've grew up with them, and it's just been really special. It wasn't, not only was it the success really, but it was just the bond building and, you know, the hard work and just the hard work and grit that we learn how to, you know, do. And, you know, sometimes you got to make sacrifices in life, and coaches, they always taught us that, you know, that sometimes you just got to grow up and be a man and make the right decisions, and not only for yourself, but for the people around you. But like I said, I just want to thank y'all for, you know, all your support and just the culture and the family-like culture for Cowboy football. And once and always, go Cowboys.
Thank you, Coach Cole, and all of you. Y'all men have a very nice delivery. Miss Latner, please, I know how hard you work, okay? I was in your shoes one time, and I don't envy you one bit, but please come and say a few things.
Well, obviously, it's not the girls that win the state championship, but we are just honored and privileged to be a part, that we get to tag along to a lot of the things and be a part of it, because we have a lot of fun. And I want to say that what these boys say and what these coaches say about these boys, obviously y'all can see what they do on the field and how they win all the time, but they talk about how they want to make good men out of them. But I get to witness that not only on the field, but in the classroom. And I have traveled with them many places to like to restaurants and things like that. And these boys, it's not just these few that you see here that are coming to the school board meeting to be honored because they're the seniors or stuff, but I watch these boys time and time and time again. They are truly teaching them not just the game of football, but they are teaching them to be well-respected men. And yes, they do make mistakes. They're teenagers and they're human just like all of us, but they are y'all are teaching them well, and they do behave very, very well. And I'm always amazed at how, when we go out in public and in the classroom, how very well behaved y'all are all the time and respectful. And we appreciate it, and they represent Madison, the Cowboys, always well, not just on the field, but everywhere you go. And so we're very pleased and honored about that. So, and we're just, the cheerleaders are just proud to be a part of such a great program. When I was a cheerleader, that was not the case. We were just proud to just get out there and jump around and dance around for a losing team all the time. We never won anything. So it's these boys, they don't know what it's like to lose a game. We never knew what it was like to win a game. So we just cheered.
Okay. And we also would like to thank the band. The band support you very well. And last but not least, our administrators, thank you for the work that you do in supporting their work. Thank you much. Are y'all going to be dismissed now? You can stay.
No, you're dismissing?
No, I'm not, but I'm saying this is a good time.
Yes.
Okay.
Congratulations.
I miss you.
Hey, how you doing?
Just fine.
He was in pre-K at Pine Hill. I used to see him.
Very nice.
Yeah. He was a nice kid. No, he was in pre-K at Pinetta last year. No, he worked at Pinetta in pre-K. Oh, no. Well, hey, yeah, he probably was, because,
All right, next up we'll have Miss Washington with a reading presentation.
You need me to follow that? Oh, my goodness. We are definitely proud of our Cowboys. And I tell you, what we're doing at Madison County Central School and the rest of the elementary schools is feeding into that high school. So we're extremely proud of those young men and women. I did prepare a little something for you that I gave you ahead of time there, or just before the meeting, just so you could kind of follow along with me and reference back to that if you needed it. I just was asked to provide you a little information about what we're doing with reading in the county. I am serving, last year I served at the Central School, and this year I am serving the Central School as well as Greenville and Pinetta. And so had to prioritize my time and make sure that the Central School, where we have more students, is getting the majority of that, but I am spending time at Greenville and Pinetta as well. So one of the things that we have done is to create a literacy team. This happened last year, and in forming that literacy team at the Central School, we looked at setting goals for our students. We first looked at our data and said, okay, what goal would be important to make sure that we're working together in the area of reading? I know accelerated reader has been used in the past, but sometimes the use has increased or decreased in different years. That's one of the things that we decided to focus on. So our goal is stated there. It says all students will have a reading goal and read daily in school to meet that goal. If they read outside of school, absolutely that's a bonus, but we want to make sure we also provide that time and that encouragement for them to read independently. So we have a school-wide incentive program, and our top earners, if you've seen them in the homecoming parade and also in the Christmas parade that just happened, I will tell you that seems like such a simple thing, but they are thrilled to be a part of that. We're also, for our 6th or 8th graders who can be reluctant readers as they get older, we have an AR trading post where they fill in a bookmark, and as it's filled out, they get to go trade that in for something at the AR trading post. And for the end of the year, we have some bigger celebrations that are planned. So what I do want to say while I have the opportunity is that we are partnering with businesses and individuals in the community, and so they see the importance in what we're doing and they're supporting that, and we're so grateful for it. The second thing there I wanted to point out to you was that part of my job, and I know you're aware of this, but I wanted to let you know how that's going, is that we're supporting new teachers and teachers that are on official coaching plans. Each grade level at the Central School has at least one teacher that's new to the profession, new to the school, or new to that grade level. So that's a lot to make sure that we're supporting them in and feeling comfortable with what they're asked to do. So a lot of what my job is to model best practices and support them in the use of curriculum and in their planning. So a lot of what we're doing is sitting down to plan together. At the Central School, we currently have 6 teachers that are on coaching plans, and 1 at Pinetta and 1 at Greenville, so I'm supporting them as well. And the third thing there on the list is data chats. A lot of what we do is to make sure that we're looking at data and that's timely. We don't let that get away from us, that we're looking at that on a consistent basis. Math and reading diagnostics were administered this past week, and some were finishing up this week. I've given you that as kind of a snapshot of where we are right now. We're reviewing the results with teachers and with students. I'm a firm believer that students need to see their data, and they need to know what the goals are for them so that they have a part in that and they take ownership of that. So that's part of what we're doing right now as well. Since we're just finishing up, that's part of what students will be doing now and also after the break to make sure they start the second semester of the school year off strong. I've given you a snapshot for, and they may not be in the same exact order, hopefully they are, but Greenville, and I was just out there today, we're looking at their data. What I've given you is kind of a one-page summary of what you can see as far as growth right now. We see that by grade level, K through 5, we are really spending some time looking at the 5th graders. I know the 4th and 5th graders actually at Greenville are the ones that you didn't get one?
I didn't get a copy.
So sorry. Let me get that for you. And in Greenville, we really need to make some growth with our 4th and 5th graders. So I just wanted to let you know that that's kind of our focus there. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you'll notice in the information that I gave you that 5th grade is actually a group across the district that raises some concerns. But spending extra time with them and really some targeted focus is we want to make some progress by doing those things. So that is just a little snapshot for you, Greenville. For Pinetta Elementary, their 5th grade as well, you see that has not made as much progress as their other grade levels. And I want to point out 3rd grade, the progress that is made there is something to celebrate. So, but we've got some really hardworking teachers and students that are making all of this happen. At the Central School, I want to point out to you again, this is 5th grade as well, is kind of the area that we want to make a focus there. And that group of students has been through some transitions this year. So I think that's part of what's going on with them, as well as our kindergarten, who they were in some large classes until this last week. So we're extremely grateful for another kindergarten teacher. So that's the information for our elementary, just a snapshot of each of those. And our middle school students are using Exact Path this year. We started to look at the fact that the middle schoolers had been using iReady as a progress monitoring tool for several years, and maybe we're going to just try something fresh and new to just keep them motivated. This is something that our teachers and administration have had to wrap our brains around, something new. As a program, it reports data in a different way than iReady has. So we're making a little shift with that. So if you'll see, I do want to point out that in 6th grade, from the fall when they take the first diagnostic to the spring when they take the last one, the program, Exact Path, recommends or suggests 30 points worth of growth. So you'll see already the growth for 6th grade. For 7th grade, they recommend 19 points worth of growth. And then for 8th grade, they recommend 19 points. And if you'll look at that 8th grade data, they are making some wonderful progress. So that's the data so far, and what we'll look at is the second half of the year, what that means for us as far as instruction, where we might want to tweak our grouping or focus in on some standards or skills that are needing some extra attention. Back to our list, classroom walkthroughs is another thing that I get to do. Not just with those new teachers or teachers on coaching plans, but school-wide, so that we can see what things are happening and where we have a teacher who's really great at a specific type of strategy or instructional practice, that we make sure other teachers get to go see that. And so a lot of that is making sure that we know what's going on throughout the school. One of the things that we are focusing on from the state is, especially with K1 and 2 students, the use of multisensory strategies. So that's there as well. And then making sure that we're making the most of the curriculum that we have. Number 5 there, part of my time is spent in professional learning communities and professional development. So for the Central School, on Thursdays are our day for K-5 teachers, and Mondays are our days for middle school teachers. That's during their planning time to come in and talk about data, talk about instructional strategies, and share ideas with each other. I meet bi-weekly with the Pinetta and Greenville teachers. Tuesday is my travel day, so that everybody at each of the schools knows when to expect me. And so I'm out there every other Tuesday at those schools. Trainings are offered on Tuesdays at the Central School, and Fiddlers is partnering with us to do some things, providing some materials as well as some professional development led by them. We did qualify because we maintained a C this past year at the Central School for the TESA allocation from the state. And we're focusing on classroom management as well as instructional strategies with a focus on literacy.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
You said offered. Does that mean mandatory or does that mean voluntary?
Because it's after school, it is just an offering, and it's a choice of the teachers to stay after. There is a stipend provided for that through the TESA allocation, so that's something that's coming from that fund.
Okay, thank you.
So it's a great question. But we offer that, and we have a book study beginning in January, and then I'm facilitating that with all 3 of the places that I'm spending time at, and it's called Visible Learning for Literacy, and it uses John Hattie's research to talk about the best instructional practices for literacy. The reading endorsement courses, we have 4 facilitators in our county. I'm one of those. We have a few others that are here. We're using the Beacon online platform to do that. And I know that was something that you had approved to save us money. Actually, that saves us some to do it that way. And we have several teachers who are finishing those up either this semester, this next semester, or they have a final opportunity in the summer because that comes into effect fall of next year. So we need to make sure that any teachers who teach reading or reading interventions has that. Okay. The last thing, and I'm so excited about this. This has been last week and this week. I've spent some of my time, and Ms. Joseph came out and was able to see some of this in action. We have some retired teachers that we brought out of retirement, and they're excited to use their skills and their expertise to get more hands-on students. And we know that we have students that have reading deficiencies. They come, and the term that we've used is language impoverished. We come and come into school sometimes behind, and that's okay. We can address that. But what are we doing to address it? We really are trying to spend more time and effort with those students so that we can meet those deficiencies. The level literacy intervention, the materials were purchased through the UNICEF grant that we had for the past 3 years, and then this year, because of the TESA allocation, we're able to pay that contract rate for these retired educators to come back in and help. So they have been very excited. They've been trained this last week, and this week have been working on benchmarking and placing those students in the program so that we know that we can jump right in and move them forward. So that's something we're targeting specific students in all the grade levels. So any questions? Or I wanted to give you guys that information, and if there's anything else that I can gather for you or report back to you about, I'd love to, but I just want to let you know what we're doing and where we are in regards to reading right now. So.
I'm thrilled to see the interventionists there, because
Yes.
I know them personally from way back when,
Yes.
the primary school days.
Yes.
Excellent teachers.
Absolutely.
And they're going to be a valuable resource, and I
Yes.
thank them for coming forth and doing
We
this.
do too. We're extremely excited.
What percent would you like, are we shooting for, I see in Pinetta, their 3rd grade has 69% met. What would be the target goal we should be looking at for?
That number tells you the percentage of students who have met their goal to be considered a year's worth of growth. Some of them already met that, and so that's what that's telling you right now. Right. So a percent there is a celebration right now at this point. Right. We would love to, there's a percentage that's saying they're making growth, but then the percentage, what I love to pay attention to this here is that there's a percent that have already met that. There's annual typical growth that is kind of considered a year's worth of growth. For students who start out below grade level, you see annual stretch growth. What that's meaning is that they need to make even more progress to catch up with their peers or to be on grade level. So when you look at those two things, we're looking at it a little bit differently depending on where they started out. And the program does determine that based on their initial placement in the program.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving right along, we have 2 changes to the agenda, or amendments. The first will be, we'll add 5.1A, the basketball Christmas, or the high school basketball Christmas tournament. That'll be 5.1A. And also, we're going to add the best and brightest allocation. That'll be 5.3A, best and brightest. Okay, public comment. Let's see, look like first up we have Ms. Renee Demps. Subject, student field trips.
Yes, ma'am.
First, I want to apologize for submitting the request late. My husband decided at last minute that it would probably be best for the bus driver and the students to stay over for our field trip. This is the 4th season we've attended the Baker tournament. They won it the last 3 seasons, so they'll be returning to try to get another trophy from Baker County. So that's what the field trip request is for. We're actually in the process of finding a hotel room, being that it's gonna be around Christmas, we're having some roadblocks, but, myself and my husband will be the chaperones. We will be grouping the players, groups of 3 to 4 in a room, so we're looking for suites for our players. But I just wanted to throw that out there if y'all had any questions about the tournament itself or the travel.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Downs.
Thank you.
All right,
Good
thank
luck
you.
to you.
All right, next up is Lisa Freeman, subject high school search.
I'm not here to complain, but I am here to ask that somebody look at policy at the school about searches. My daughter was subjected to a random search this morning. They were in the gym for the first period and she was asked to put a bag away out the way where they couldn't touch them. They were told to go to the other side of the gym and sit down. And then the dogs came in and she tried to call me because she was really worried because she had some ibuprofen in her bag because she needed them for pain, and she does sometimes. And you know, some 16-year-olds are very worldly and some 16-year-olds are not very worldly, but she was very worried about it. At that point, her phone was taken from her and I got half a call. I was at work and I got a half call and it dropped, which is when her phone was taken. I was then in a panic at work, wondering what was going on, and I texted her several times, and I'm trying to calm down. I am a very involved, and I'm a very loving parent. I try my best to show my children love. I have 2 children, 16 years apart, and I've been able to raise them both as only children, and it's been a joy. But I'm then left in a very bad panic at work, wondering what's going on. I texted her 5 text messages, asked her to please let me know what was happening. And I heard nothing, and I said, calm down, wait, let's see if at break she contacts me and lets me know what's going on. Well, an hour later, I hadn't heard anything. I tried to call, I tried to FaceTime, I tried every way, and I said, I'm coming to the school. And in the meantime, she has had her phone taken away, dogs sniffed the bags. They'd been told to go stand by the wall. Then she was called out and told to go see the assistant principal, Jada Woods-Williams, who's here today, and she had a police officer with her. She was told to go get her van keys and go back with them. Apparently, a dog had sniffed something at the van that she drives, and they were going to search. She was escorted to the van with 2 officers and Miss Woods, and asked on the way if she did anything illegal, if she smoked. I smoked cigarettes. I had smoked one in there yesterday, actually, because I couldn't get my car out the driveway. But she doesn't smoke anything illegal. She doesn't smoke. She doesn't like me smoking, and I try not to even smoke in there. So they get to the car, and they search the van. They pulled it apart. Not worried. We don't do anything. I don't care about the search, and I understand why we do searches. What I am very concerned about is she has really bad anxiety, and not being able to contact me was very upsetting for her, and I am upset to the point of crying. I'm not angry. Well, I'm halfway there, okay? I worked as a juvenile probation officer in Georgia for many years. And at 16, I'm very concerned that she is not able to contact her parent and that the school didn't contact her parent when they go and pull everything out of her car and search it like that. She was panicked, absolutely panicked at what was going on, and I don't think that's abnormal. I don't understand why she wasn't called. I don't understand why somebody did not allow her to call me from her own phone. If I had not had a teacher, her next teacher, allow her to call me because she was sobbing and uncontrollable upset. She was scared to drive home because her driver's license was in her phone case. What do we do, okay? I would like somebody to look at the phone, at the policy about searches. I understand searches. I approve of searches. I don't want people in there doing what they're not supposed to be doing. But one size doesn't fit all. Some children are not as worldly as others. Some children get very upset by things like this. She's going to go to school this week and finish her exams, but I think she's done with school, and I've got to allow her that right to choose. She knows how she feels, but I think she's through. And I'm very sad that in 10th grade she's going to quit, because that was just more trauma than she can take. And I have to take her to the doctor now and see if I can get her some anxiety medicine. But I'm very upset, and that's all I need to say, and thank you for listening. But please, please, somebody look at policy. I will look at the law, because as I said, as a juvenile probation officer, when the school did searches, they would call me, they would call the parent, and I often was called to go in and be the child's advocate at that search. And I think something's wrong, okay? I'm sorry, I think at 16, something is seriously wrong. At 17, it's borderline. At 18, they're an adult. But at 16, they're still children. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
And now I'm going to go home and cry, okay? Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we sure are, Ms. Joseph will be looking further into that and following up with
I
her
will
summary
follow
of
up.
that.
That's the first time I've heard of that.
Okay. All right. Moving right along, consent agenda items. Do we have a motion to approve?
I make the motion to approve the consent items.
Second.
All right, would there be any need for discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? 5-0. Items for individual consideration. 5.1, student field trips out of county. Ms. Joseph.
Mr. Chair, 5.1 student field trip, the FFA chapter at Madison County High School would like to go to Gainesville on December 20th to participate in Toys for Tots Drive, and this is being paid for out of the FFA chapter.
Okay, that's the only one. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the student field trips?
I move to approve student field trips out of county.
Second.
Properly moved by Ms. Gibson, seconded by Ms. Bell. Will there be a need for discussion? All in favor? Raise your hand. Opposed? 5-0. 5.1A, the basketball Christmas tournament. Ms. Joseph.
Mr. Chairperson, Ms. Demps just explained to you about the basketball Christmas tournament, December 26th through 28th in Baker County.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the basketball Christmas tournament?
I made the motion to approve the basketball Christmas tournament, December the 26th through the 28th.
Second.
Properly moved by Ms. Bell, seconded by Mr. Alford. There be a need for discussion? All in favor? Raise your hand. Opposed? 5-0, motion carried. 5.2, monthly financial report. Mr. Barnes.
Thank you. Submitted for your approval is the monthly financial reports. The first part is the vendor payments. The first section highlighted in blue is the year-to-date vendor payments. That's a listing in alphabetical order of all vendors that have been paid this year and the total sum that they've received from this school district. And then as you scroll through that, there is an orange header, and that's actually your warrant register for the month of November. And so you'll see it's sorted by check date, by alphabetical order. And so you can see within there what was paid during the month of November to each vendor as well. And then finally is your year-to-date revenue and expenditure budget report. Are y'all looking at that now? Okay. For the month of November, or actually year-to-date, for your general fund, you have received $8,197,000, $8,197,806, and you've spent $8,191,191.51. So far this year, you have received $6,614 more than you've spent. Typically, the month of November is when you receive your first ad valorem receipt, your first large ad valorem receipt. But also during the month of November, what happened is the steps were awarded to most staff, and they were also retroactively paid. So that consumed most of the additional revenue that you get from your ad valorem. So that's basically what happened in November. You're going to get another fairly large ad valorem receipt during the month of December, and you should see a fairly significant jump of revenue over expenditures there in your general fund. Any questions on that so far? Okay. So if you continue to scroll through that report, you'll see your debt service funds. No significant items to mention there other than you're working according to budget. A lot of the money that actually comes into debt service comes in at the end of the year through either parimutuel money or state sources. Your next item is your fixed capital funds. You've received $396,000 and spent $305,000, so you're $91,000 positive in all of your capital outlay funds. Food service, you're running a $54,000 deficit. We've talked about that before. That's intentional because your fund balance in food service is actually, it was actually fairly high and was starting to draw attention. Fund 420 is you shouldn't carry a fund balance in that, so you're actually that's running appropriately too. You see a deficit there. It's the very last page, and that's just because when this report is run, it's run for November 30th, and usually there's some last-minute expenditures in which the revenues haven't been drawn down from DOE yet. And that concludes my report. If y'all have any questions, I'd be glad to try and answer them.
Any questions for Mr. Barnes? If not, do we have a motion to approve?
I make the motion to approve the monthly statements, financial reports.
Second.
All right, would there be a need for discussion?
I just want to thank Mr. Barnes for providing us the register of who's been paid and how much. That's a big help for us to know. Thank you.
If y'all have any details when you get the packet, we'll be glad to provide.
This is very detailed.
Yes, it is.
All right, all in favor, raise your hand. Oppose? 5-0. Thank you. All right, 5.3, student progression plan.
I'll do that.
Ms. Joseph.
It's time for a public hearing. Okay, Ms. Hill is out on medical leave right now, and it's time, we have advertised the student progression plan that require 30 days, and now it's time for public hearing, if any.
Okay. Well, at this time, we'll open up this portion of the meeting for the public hearing on the student progression plan.
I feel like I need to say something just because it's public hearing, number one, and you guys need to be challenged every once in a while. And secondly, because Ms. Joseph gave me a personal copy of this to make sure that I had some homework to do, and I wanted to assure her that I did review it. I brought it today, but when I got here, the parking lot was so full, I was focusing on trying to find somewhere to park, and I left it in the car. So all my questions are, but anyway, I just for my own clarification. The student progression plan, as I understand it, from having worked in the system, is progressive in nature in that it outlines how we progress from kindergarten on through, correct?
Correct.
And it's kind of supervised by our district
Curriculum department.
to ensure that our schools work as a system and that everybody's kind of following the same track and doing the same thing, right?
That's the general premise.
So, to my understanding, that means that no school is independent of itself, but we are all guided by the student progression plan, and no one person or group of persons have laissez-faire to do what they want to without discussion within with the district curriculum person. No school should be making changes independent of that, correct?
It should be in conjunction with this, and it should be in line with what's in the board-approved student progression plan. Now, if there are deviants, we need to know about it so we can address it.
Okay, my question, I noticed that there were several things that may not even be required in the student progression plan. It may be in another document, I'm not sure, but since I had to review this, I need to ask some questions. There were a lot of things under 9 through 12 that had to do with, I think it was the CAP program, student acceleration and students moving forward. But when I looked at the middle grades, it seemed to be sorely lacking. I'm thinking rigor. It seemed to be sorely lacking in that area. Now, from having worked at the high school, I know that there's a lot of emphasis on ACT, SAT, that kind of thing. But I did not see that so much at the middle grades, although I know there's an opportunity for 8th graders to take the pre-SAT and all of that, because that helps them improve by the time they get to high school level with having to take that if they're college bound. Ms. Joseph knows that I inquired of her about the lack of opportunity for our current 8th graders to take that this year. And it seems like doing some further research, that decision was made at the school level not to offer that opportunity to this year's students. And that's why I asked the previous questions, just to make sure I'm understanding how things should be. And my other concern was about the rigor. In developing relationships and rapport with students in our district, even after they graduate from our district, I still try to keep a relationship and rapport with them. So I get their cell phone numbers and I check on them after they matriculate. A couple students that graduated last year with honors and even high honors are now attending secondary. They're attending college somewhere. And when I check on them, they're having serious issues of being able to maintain. They were honor students last year. Okay, that brings me back to a question that was asked, and I believe it was asked by Mr. Alford, and I don't ever remember hearing an answer response to it. And it had to do with the comparison between the students who are making the honor roll and their test performance. All this, I know I'm just talking crazy and kind of, because I left my notes in the car, but it all ties in with the lack of the offering, the opportunity for 8th grade students to take the pre-SAT this year, how that decision was made. Was the board aware that we're no longer offering that? Because we've been offering that ever since I was working in the system, like I said, high school and even before then. And all of a sudden, it's not offering anymore. That ties into my rigor question. That ties into my comparison between honor roll and the kids who are actually in college now and not performing well, but with high honors. So that's just my thoughts. And if I'm off base with student progression and all that, I'll take it.
Thank you. I'd like to piggyback on Ms. Hubbard. Thank you, Ms. Hubbard. I also agree with the rigor aspect, but I feel that we should be looking even at the elementary level, that the rigor should be upped at the elementary. And I've looked through this, and maybe I've overlooked it in the pupil progression plan. I have 2 questions, or actually maybe 3. With tardies and absenteeisms, I couldn't find it anywhere in there. And is that not in there now? Or, I mean, I call myself looking through it multiple times in the table of content and never could.
It used to be in there. It used to
It
be.
used
Is that in your student code of conduct about tardies? That's in your student code of conduct about your tardies and absentees.
Well, in saying that, and I don't know if this is the venue to talk about it concerning with the pupil progression plan, but working in the schools right now, I think that people who are habitually tardy at school, if you're truly teaching from bell to bell and you start teaching at 8 o'clock when the bell rings, and if you have someone that rolls in 8:15 every morning for the whole week or every day, that's 75 minutes of instruction during that week they've missed out on. And if you're talking about your first period for the 3rd grade teacher is a reading class, that's 75 minutes for that week they've missed out on, times 4 for the month. My question to this is, I think, and maybe we are, I don't know, but I think that we should be, and I don't know how it would be done, this would be a question for Ms. Hill or Ms. Washington. I feel that teachers at the elementary level that are team teaching with or every teacher, that they should be somehow counted per period or per, because theoretically you could be there till, you could either be late the first part of the morning, or often we see students leaving early so their parents don't have to wait in the bus pickup or line pickup. They get there early, sign them out, and then if the teacher is teaching from bell to bell, then they're missing the last part. I want something that is showing that this person's being tardy, and they're missing out, because if you're looking at MTSS, and I mean, MTSS and qualifying for special programs, a lot of that's based on, are you at school to receive the instruction? And that's very misleading if you're saying they are, but they're tardy, but yet they're missing this period of reading every day. That is one that is one issue I'm having with this, is I think that we should be spelling it out better. And if a student is habitually tardy every day, then that should be counted toward absences or something, to where it's showing up on the MTSS when it's time to look at that. And for the teacher with their VAM score. I mean, that's not fair to that reading or math teacher if you have someone who is tardy all the time. It's not fair to the child, it's not fair to the teacher. I mean, it's the parent that's making them tardy. And I do realize that things could happen and someone could be tardy every now and then. I'm not talking about every now and then. I'm talking about students who are habitually tardy, or students who habitually leave every day because they do not want to wait in the pickup line to get out to beat that. That's what I'm referring to. And I'm sure every one of these schools have this going on. That's just where I just want to make sure that's addressed. And the other thing in the pupil progression plan, I spoke to Ms. Washington earlier, and maybe this is a conversation with Ms. Hill, Ms. Washington, the other reading coaches in the district. I believe that there should, and maybe there is, I just didn't see it, there should be some sort of scaled score, either in 1st grade or 2nd grade, that is a cutoff for students for retention. It doesn't make any sense in my mind to send students on to 3rd grade who are not prepared to be in 3rd grade. And if they're that deficient, you're setting them up for failure. You're setting them up for level 1. A 3rd grade teacher knows the first day of school, or by the end of the first week, who's going to be their level 1s. Based upon, if you look at this data, and we have a ton of data, if you have a score that's very low, it could be the best teacher in this district, but they're only going to bring that child up so much. And they can't work miracles. We need some sort of number, in my opinion, that's there, that is a cutoff for the administrators, for the reading coaches, for the teachers, because no parent wants or most parents do not want their children retained, even if it's going to be the best thing for them. And I'm not seeing a score in there. Maybe there is a score, but I think we need some sort of black and white. And we had this years ago where this was a cutoff. And I do think you need to look at grades, how they're doing, if they can read. It's a bad day when you roll into third grade and you can't read, and you've got to that point not being able to read. And those are the things that I'm having some concern about with the pupil progression plan is the tardiness and and again, that's a conversation for Miss Washington, Miss Hill. They need to come up with the score of what they feel is best. Yes, Miss Washington.
I can answer a couple of those things that you're pondering. In our district reading plan, there's a decision tree that we base some things on, and the scale scores come from Clippers for kindergarten, and then I read you for first through fifth grade. And so there are cut scores for all of that in that decision tree. So that's something that maybe could be transferred over to the progression plan. The other question about the attendance, which I'm in great agreement, that teachers don't have much control over the students and their attendance. And it was decided from the district that teachers, this time when they're doing their roster verification forms, that if a student has habitual absences, that those students can come off of a teacher's roster, which is an extremely beneficial thing for a teacher because that's not in their control. So I think those things are being addressed, but I think it would be nice for that to be seen within the pupil progression plan as well.
And do we still turn students or turn parents over to anyone concerning habitual truancy? I mean, we should be, but do we
We're
still?
sending letters. I don't know how far the letters are going, but after so many days, we are sending letters to the parents for habitual attendance.
But what's the repercussions, though, for being tardy regularly?
Because that's at the school level. The school level are dealing with habitual tardiness.
So in other words, each school has their own, decides what they want to do with them?
Eventually, they can refer to the judicial system, but up until the high school, for example, and I know Ms. Longoose and Jada that can elaborate more, but those who habitual at the high school who have a driver's license, they can't have a driver's license revoked.
Right, I know that, but I mean, it's setting a very bad precedent for the children, because they're learning that it's okay to be late, and I can name families right now that are habitually tardy. That's just the school talk, the principals talk about them. Right. But there's some, in other words, if there's no repercussions, they'll continue to do it, and the children are the ones that are suffering.
I just think that we need, like Ms. Washington said, we need numbers, because it's not fair to the administrators at the school site when you have an angry parent and you're talking about retention and you're saying, oh, well, we have this, but we need to have numbers in some sort of formal document that we have that parents can see that.
In that semester report card, we sent home promotion requirements, and on page 19, in your student progression plan, you have specific promotion requirements. So we inform the parents what the promotion requirements are. We let them know mid-year, these are your promotion requirements. So, and the third report card, we also put that back in.
I see with the grades, because that would be in there, but this is above the grades, because if, like Ms. Hubbard said, if you're not grading to the standard, you could have high grades and have low scores. And that's the issue. I mean, that's the issues I think we're seeing, because we have a lot of students who make the honor roll, but they fail to pass the FSA.
That's something we are working with the principals to work with their staff to let their grading match the knowledge level of the kid. You can put anything you want on paper, but until the teachers get it, and the administrators get it, that your grades that you receive on your report cards need to match your knowledge level. That's something that we've got. That's what we got to get. Yes, we're not there yet, but we've got the right words on the paper. We just got to translate it to action.
Those were just my two concerns concerning the student progression plan.
All right, would there be any other additional comments from the public?
from the public?
I do have one comment.
Yes.
Okay, hold on 1 second, Ms. Hubbard.
I really would like a response about, the lack of offering that PSAT, and what can we do in the future to make sure that that's, continued as in years past?
I will answer that. The PSAT, what she's talking about, it was through the Florida partnership and College Board partnership, and they paid for the 8th graders, 9th graders, and to take the PSAT. The state pays for all 10th graders to take the PSAT, and they also pay for the 11th graders to take the SAT. That's not a requirement. That was some outside entity coming in, taking the, offering the test for the kids. The principal at that school decided this past year that the 8th graders were tested too much, and so they did not offer the test this year. That was before my time. When we take it again, we've got to make sure that the staff is utilizing the results of the test to help form instructions. But if we are part of the partnership again next year, we will put it back in. We cannot go back and get this year back. It was a done deal when I got here.
I know, I understand that, thank you for that, and I guess just to piggyback on that, that has nothing to do with the student progression plan, but it does have to do with, a systemic oversight of what we do, and, that no one principal or one person should have the authority to make that decision, or that kind of decision.
All right. And if that's all of the comments from the public, this portion of the meeting, the public portion will be closed.
Parties are gonna be,
Those are in your student code of conduct. They're not part of your.
but I mean, I feel that we need to address some, in this code of student conduct, it says nothing about like doing it per like leaving classes at the elementary level. I mean, it's tardy for the day. I mean, it's tardy initially. What I'm saying is you could be late if you like, if they switch at 10 o'clock, you may get to school at 10:15. I don't know, I just think in fairness to the teachers at the school site, there needs to be some type of way to document when students are coming and going from these classes all through the day. And I don't think it is now.
If we look at policy 5200 attendance, it addresses absences and so forth, tardies, such as what the example you used. It can be designated as an unexcused absence, provided there's no note. It's designated as an unexcused absence, then it would fall under the policy and the guidance that's outlined in it. And in that policy, it talks about how the student is referred to the school intervention team, the RTI process, to try to come up with a resolution to combat the tardiness and combat the unexcused absences.
But still, I'm not, I mean, I still think it's an issue that we're not addressing. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but that doesn't account for the people who are leaving at the end of the day. And if we're truly doing from bell to bell instruction, then I don't know where that fits in. And that's what we're telling. I mean, that's what has been our motto in the past, to do bell to bell instruction.
What I'm hearing from you, we have it written down, but we need to enforce it.
Other than just tell the parents to be on time.
Student code of conduct, we need to see about enforcing it.
And showing in some way where the teachers can mark in their class if they have students who are leaving or not there, or what during or come late, and you're saying that you're here, but you get there at the last 15 minutes of the class, and that's not a true representation of you being there.
Well, on the attendance in Skyward, there is codes that they put in there for whether they're late, whether they're excused or unexcused. All of that is listed in Skyward.
Right.
So you can pull up an attendance report, and let me use my daughter, for example, and see what day she was out, what day she was late, what day she was checked out early. All that is listed in their attendance report that's in Skyward.
Right. And when you check into school, they have to sign in at a specific time. it doesn't mark them present for that entire period. It tells them what time they, somewhere you'll find a document what time they sign in. But I hear you, we need to look at our policy, our rules for tardiness and enforce, and make sure that we're enforcing it.
And just leave it. And just leave it.
We will look at it and we will get it enforced.
I mean, if you have someone who's leaving each day at 2:15 and you have truly a good teacher who's teaching to 2:30 every day, that's a problem.
I think the key point we're missing here for what Mr. Alford is saying, that habitual tardiness or absenteeism impacts academics.
Absolutely.
Student performance, therefore student progression.
Well, I don't have the student conduct in front of me here, but are there any repercussions other than marking them tardy? I mean, what happens if, like, my child is tardy 5 times?
Well, if a kid is tardy in the morning, you can't punish the kid. It's not fair to punish the kid for the fault of the parent.
No, we're not punishing the children ever, but it's because it's the parent's responsibility. But I mean, are there no repercussions then?
That's when you code it as if it's unexcused.
Right.
You code it as unexcused.
Okay, but,
And
or
then
that,
eventually roll into absence.
After so many tardies,
so
it should
after
be an
so many,
absence.
so in other words, after so many tardies, is it an absentee?
Should be, yeah.
Should be, or is it? We'll have to, it is, okay, it is, okay. Mhm. Well, thank you, that's what I was wondering, okay.
Okay, regarding the student progression plan, do we have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the student progression plan.
Do we have a second?
I second the progression plan.
All right, we have a motion on the floor, motion by Ms. Bell, seconded by Mr. Alford. Would there be a need for additional discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? 4-1. 4-1, Ms. Bishop. All right, 5.3A, best and brightest allocation, Ms. Joseph.
Okay, the best and brightest allocation, what you have before you is that's a policy on our distribution of the best and brightest allocation funds that we've received this year. It has been vetted by our chief negotiator, Mr. Dietman, and what we need from you, this is money that we already have in the district. The state that says they've given us guidelines on how to use it and distribute it. And we need you to okay the plan that we put forth. And like I say, it has been vetted by Leonard Deisman. Our next step, with your approval, we need to get an MOU with the union because they have their part in it. And before distribution, we're going to need an executive session on the nuts and bolts of this.
Do they have that in front of them?
Should be attached. Did you attach it?
Yeah, so we didn't really have a chance to look at it.
I mean, I'm not,
It was an
I'm not
amendment.
seeing it on here if it's.
It's under amendments.
Okay, you have to sign it.
That's gotta be on the public site though, guys. I mean, if they're voting on it in public, it needs to be on the public site.
I can throw it over to the side.
That's it. But that's what he was talking with you about today. But this is only step one of it. We will need an executive session to review this, and the union has to agree to it also. You have to refresh your thing if you put it, I don't know where you put it. He hasn't moved it yet.
Yeah, I had enough time to review.
You really, we just need permission to advertise. You're not voting on it because we've got to have an executive session before you vote on
Okay,
it, okay?
so.
But we need
just
permission to advertise it so, they can get their monies before
Okay,
August.
okay. Well, do we have a motion to advertise?
I move to advertise the best and brightest allocation.
Second.
Okay, motion, properly motion and second. Need for discussion. All in favor? Oppose? 5-0.
Okay, suggestion date for executive session. January 27th, is that a good day?
Do you need to check with Mr. Dietzen though, so he can be here?
Yes, we're working on scheduling the first week of January, we are having the committee's getting together to discuss it. And then I'm also trying to schedule a IBB meeting with Mr. Dietzen to go over what we find from that. And then we have to do the executive session shortly thereafter.
So,
Does Mr. Dietzen though need to be here for the executive session, I guess was my
I
question.
think we need to do the IBB first.
Right.
Then work with him.
I just, and the only reason I'm asking that is if you've got to get him, there's no need to set it right now, because with his calendar, you're gonna have to come
I'm
back.
suggesting a date of January 27th, would that work?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to work out with him.
And we'll have another meeting before then, but we're tentatively set an executive session for January 27th.
It would be at 6 p.m. 27.
What time is the pleasure of the board?
Whenever they can get through with work.
Okay, 6 p.m.
Six
work.
works.
Okay.
6 o'clock on the 27th? Okay.
6 o'clock on the 27th, tentative. All right, 5.4, policy changes. Ms. Joseph?
Those are the policies that Mr. Stallnecker put forth, and so I will let him handle that.
Okay, Mr. Stallnick.
That's version, we talked about in the last couple of board meetings about giving policy updates. Policies are currently advertised in versions 20.1, and that'll bring us up to date through the spring 2020 updates. And that's all the policies that were listed, and we've sat through with the staff members and researched those and made the edits, and the advertisement period is over.
Okay. Well, we'll open it up to the public at this time. Any comments from the public on the policy changes? All right. All right. If not, this portion of the meeting to the public is closed. Do we have a motion to approve the policy changes?
I made the motion to approve the policy change.
All right.
Second.
Do it, okay. Been moved by Ms. Bell, seconded by Ms. Gibson. Will there be a need for discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Stallnaker.
Thank you.
All in favor? Raise your hand. Oppose? 5-0. Policy changes have been adopted. 5.5, staffing table. Mr. Stallnick.
There are no changes.
Thank you. 5.6, personnel changes. Mr. Stallnick.
In your packets are the personnel changes for this board meeting. We have a couple hires. Mr. Travis Blue, who kind of hard to name your replacement, but he'll be replacing me. And then Ms. Edna Ely, who's also here in the audience, she'll be replacing Mr. Barnes eventually on his contract.
But Mr. Barnes is still subcontracting with us.
He's
okay?
hanging tight. We have Ms. Brianna Pettiford, who will be the new science teacher at the high school. 2 non-instructional employee recommendations, Gaines Starling and Selena Barfield at Central School. And then there's a handful of resignations / retirements throughout the district. Also on the personnel changes, on the cover document, it's listed for the general public to see. There are approximately 10, I believe, I don't have the document in front of me, but 10 volunteers that need to be added to the approval list. Subject to your questions?
Wait a minute, you got 5 volunteers listed on
Okay,
there.
I didn't have the document in front of me.
Okay, you're not saying that there's more than those 5, it's just whatever's listed.
Yes, that's correct.
I'm with you.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the personnel changes?
I made the motion to approve the personnel changes.
Second.
Oh, sorry. All right, we have a motion by Ms. Bell, seconded by Ms. Gibson. There'll be a need for discussion. All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? 5-0. Personnel changes be accepted. All right, 6.1, superintendent items.
Superintendent items, I would like to report, and I think you were all informed that we did have a bus accident on Friday of last week. Okay, I would also like to report, we were not at fault. We followed all the procedures correctly. Things happen, and we just want to make sure that we are covered. The driver of the car went to the hospital, and did anybody else go to the hospital? One of the students went to the hospital, but I don't think they were critically hurt. But as a precaution, that did occur. Things happen, and so we were just fortunate that our people did the right thing. Now, last week, we also named each school's teacher, we announced each school's teacher of the year. And for Madison County High, we had Monica Dyke. Madison County Central, we had Shanika Pride. Madison County Central, number 2, was Ms. Quenisha Knight. Lee Elementary School, Rebecca Gonzalez. Pinell Elementary School, Jill Page. Greenville Elementary School, Tracy Jones. James Madison Preparatory High School, Patrick White. And Madison Creative Arts Academy, Kim Wiggum. And so at the end of January, we will have our Teachers of the Year banquet where the actual district teacher will be announced. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Reeves.
No, sir, not unless you have questions of me.
All right, Ms. Gibson.
Okay, I'd like to congratulate the Teachers of the Year. I know many of them personally because I've taught with quite a few of them. I'd like to congratulate our ag teacher, Ms. Kaylee Jenkins, for being recognized by the Florida FFA Association for meeting high standards and providing a quality program for our students. And as we mentioned earlier, on December 20th, a group will be going to Shands Children's Hospital in Gainesville to deliver toys that they've been collecting. I had the privilege of attending the Florida School Board Association annual conference in Tampa in the beginning of December. There was many valuable workshops that were presented, and I appreciate all the new ideas and the wonderful speakers. It's good to get with other school board members throughout the state. I'd like to commend Pinetta Elementary School for their participation and encouragement they give to their students in the AR program. Of course, the other schools are doing it as well, but reading is both beneficial and enjoyable at Pinetta Elementary. I'd like to again congratulate the Madison County Cowboys on their 3rd state championship. We appreciate all the coaches, the staff, and the parents, along with the fabulous band which accompanies the Cowboys. Way to go. I have enjoyed all the Christmas concerts and programs at our schools. I would like to thank our music directors, the teachers, the staff for preparing the students, and I'd like to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
I just want to get really tough. I want to thank all of our hardworking teachers, and I'm very proud of the 5 teachers, or the teachers that were chosen from each one of our schools and the charter school. But they're all, I mean, I don't know how they choose which one is the teacher of the year.
That's a tough choice, yeah.
I would like to say congratulations to all of the teachers that was awarded Teacher of the Year. Also, I would like to say congratulations to the Madison County Cowboys, and I would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
I would like to congratulate all the Teacher of the Year that have been nominated for each school site. All of them are great teachers. I too have had the opportunity to work with some over the years, and they are great teachers. Last week I had the opportunity to attend the Florida School Board Association Conference in Tampa and had the pleasure of hearing Dade County's superintendent speak. He spoke of turning his failing schools around in Dade County. It was very motivational and inspirational, and if anyone gets the chance to possibly hear this speaker, he's a great speaker. Really makes you start rethinking about how we're doing things and what we need to do. I also would like to congratulate the football team for their 3rd state championship, the coaches, their hard work, the cheerleaders, the band, the parents, all the dedication by all. And I too would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Okay, yes. Okay, all right. I just wanted to piggyback on a very important piece that Mr. Alford alluded to earlier in regards to Dade County's school system in their district, their superintendent, and the efforts that he has made over the years since he's been there. And he basically had a powerful message for all of us, and that every child can succeed. That was basically what I got from it, and it was very, very motivational. And I also wanted to congratulate all the teachers of the year as well. You go through a lot, not only the winners, but all of them are winners in my book, actually. But teachers go through a lot, you know, being the son of a retired teacher myself, and her coming home frustrated, venting on us and everything. My hat always went off to teachers. And so I salute you, all teachers, but in this moment, especially the teachers of the year. And I wanted to especially wish a Merry Christmas to the superintendent, attorney, and my fellow board members.
Merry Christmas.
I think, yeah, I think it's very important that we, you know, build a bond amongst ourselves and have a good rapport with one another. We can't talk, you know, based on the sunshine laws or whatever, but I wanted to tell you publicly, we appreciate you and your service, and hope you and your families have a wonderful Merry Christmas, as well as all of the public. Amen. To all of the public and to everybody, we're so thankful for each and every one of you. If nothing else, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Have a second?
Second.
All right.